Welcome to video 1 of the Conference Manager tutorial series. In this video, we are going to give a system overview for global and community admins. If you have any technical issues or additional questions after watching these tutorials, please contact support at confamanager.com. If there are technical issues, don't have your users reach out directly, but rather, please contact us on their behalf. Be sure to ask them for a detailed description of the issue, including the steps they took to experience the issue, accompanied by screenshots that show the entire browser page, including the URL. Please include the community number and the browser the user is using, such as Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, in these emails. To begin, we are going to navigate to my.confmanager.com. You will notice it auto-populates the URL with community number 1. This is our main Conference Manager community for global admins. No other role besides global admins can access this community, so when you provide your society's URL to your clients, be sure to indicate the proper community number for them to log into. Let's start with your user profile. There are 3 ways to access your user profile. The first is at the bottom of the left menu bar. The second is in the top right corner where you see a profile picture. And lastly, there is the user options card on the dashboard. Let's click on My Profile. This page shows all the communities you are active in, as well as any memberships, registrations, or abstract submissions you have in these communities. You will also be able to see the invoices and payments associated with these. For now, let's click on Edit My Profile. You will now see all the available fields that can be added to your user profile, such as address, contact information, how your name appears on a name badge, social media accounts, profile picture, and personal tax number. The personal tax number is for any groups that need to gather this information. This number will appear on the user's invoices. At the bottom of this page, you can change your email and password, change your profile picture, and upload documents. Documents could be a photo of your student ID or other proof that you are eligible for certain society benefits. Next, let's take a look at the user manual. To access it, click the user profile picture at the top right, and a drop-down will appear with a link to the user manual. This will open in a new tab and is organized to allow you to quickly find information about the area of the system you have questions about. Although this is a tutorial for community admins, the different communities within the application is an important concept to understand. I am going to show you a quick way for global admins to log into different communities without the need to remember the community ID. Let's navigate to the Global Admin drop-down in the left menu bar and select Communities. From here, we can use the search field or scroll through all the communities to find the one we want to log into. I want to go to our demo community, which is Community 2, so I simply click the Login button and am taken to that login page. Let's log in. We are now working in the demo community. Now let's take a further look at the admin areas in the left menu bar. The community admin area is always the name of your community. In this example, it is International Society of Artificial Life Forms. When we click on this drop-down, we see the different areas of the application that community admins have access to. Let's start at the top. Manage Community shows the setup page for your community and is the same as the page we see when creating a new community. On this page, you can change the community's status, name, language preferences, currency, as well as whether the community is a Podium or Conference Manager client. The languages currently supported are English, French, and Spanish. The language shown to users will be determined by the language chosen in each user's profile, if it's available in that specific community as specified here. Below the Community Information card, you will see the Features card. This is only visible to global admins and allows us to give clients access to the modules they wish to use. The next 2 cards are where you can enter additional information and contact information for the society. We are now ready to set up our payment information. There is a trickle-down effect for the payment information you set up on the Manage Community page. Once setup is completed, it will auto-populate the payment information step for any other form you set up later. You can still change the payment information for each module, but it's convenient for groups that are using the same payment information for every module. The credit cards dropdown selects which credit card logos are displayed on the payment page. This does not actually restrict the credit cards from being accepted, as that would have to be done on the payment provider's portal, not the Conference Manager application. You can then select which payment provider you would like to use. Currently, it is set to Test, but many of our clients use Stripe, so let's use that as an example. You need your secret and publishable API keys, which can be found on your payment provider's portal. The other payment providers will also need similar requirements to work. Once that is done, you are ready to accept online payments. If you choose to accept online payments, you will see a field for terms and conditions. These terms will appear on the payment page if an online payment is chosen. In the Pay Offline card, you will see the various options for offline payments. When you toggle them to Yes, you will see the different fields associated with each payment type. Mail payments have an address, phone payments have a phone number, e-transfers have an email address, and wire transfers have instructions for how your society accepts transfers. The last card on the Manage Community page is Taxes. As I mentioned previously, there is a trickle-down effect for the payment information setup on this page. You will add all the tax types you will be using application-wide. If you are a Canadian-based society and you charge tax based on what province the user resides in, you can add the Canadian tax table. Simply choose which province your society resides in, and membership will use the corresponding tax table for its tax purposes. When members enroll, they will be charged their local tax type. For registration, you would likely charge based on where the conference is being held, so you can use the custom tax option to add the applicable tax types for that location. If you are in a location that collects VAT, you can add that here as well. When you set up your forms, you will see options to choose any of these taxes to apply to certain ticket types, meals, or merchandise in accordance with your local tax laws. The last tax type that can be added is the Custom Canadian Tax Table. This works in the same way as the Canadian tax table, except you can build the tax lines yourself. This is for societies that have certain tax exemptions. We are going to skip over API tokens in this tutorial and we'll cover that in a later video. The next item in the community admin area is users. This is a user list for anyone that is active in this community. As soon as someone registers, submits an abstract, or becomes a member in this community, their user profile will be included in this user list. You can search this list by email address, first name, last name, or affiliation. You can sort by different user statuses, such as active, archived, and pending. You can also sort by user role. There is also additional filtering included at the top of each column. If you are creating a user profile on behalf of a society member, there is an Add New User button in the top right corner. Before you can create a new user, you are taken to a page where you can search that user's name to ensure they are not already a user on a different community within Conference Manager. If the user is already in the application but has a common name, we also provide that user's affiliation so you can be sure you are selecting the appropriate user. If the user does not appear in your search, you can now click on Create New User to create a user profile on behalf of the society member. Let's go back to the user list and look at the different admin options that are available. If you click on the edit icon to the right of a user, you will be taken to that user's profile page. You can edit everything, including their password and email address. They can be made community admins or group registrars from this page as well. This is where you will find supporting documents if any were uploaded to their user profiles. You will also see their activity within the application at the bottom of this page. Global admins will see their activity application-wide, while community admins will only see their activity from the community they are currently logged into. The next button on the Manage User page is for validating users. This is used when a user is unable to verify their account. For example, if there is a firewall that restricts them from receiving Conference Manager emails, an admin can validate their account on their behalf without populating all their contact information that is required for the user profile. Another scenario is if you create a user profile on behalf of a user. If this user happens to be a VIP and you don't want them to go through the validation process, you can validate their account for them, but they'll still need to select Forgot Password on the login page to set their password. The next button on the Manage User page is the Summary. This takes us to the User Summary page for that user. The User Summary includes information from every area of the application that this user has been active in. There is a brief list of profile details, as well as another button to take you to their user profile. On each module's card, there is a Send Invoice Emails button. This button can only be used if there is a balance owing. When this button is selected, you will be able to select any outstanding invoices to send in this email. The email will take the selected invoices you choose and create a balance owing that will appear to the user as a payment URL in their invoice email. This link will take the user directly to the payment page without requiring login. The Send Invoice Email option can also be found in the Edit dropdown for each module on the User Summary page. The second card is the Membership card. This card includes the membership data for that user, including membership type, expiry date, member since, identification, status, balance owing, and payment status. If there were any supporting documents uploaded in their membership enrollment, you will see those documents here. You will see an Edit button with a drop-down menu on this card. The Edit button allows an admin to edit the user's membership enrollment as if they were acting on behalf of the user. The form will appear the same to the admin as it would to the user. Here's a quick tip if you are making edits on behalf of a user that would result in a balance owing. Select one of the offline payment options on the payment page. This will put the user's payment status in a pending state and allow you to complete the changes. You can then use the Send Invoice Emails icon to email the invoice to the user with the changes, and they can complete the payment using the link in the email. The first option in the dropdown is Edit Status. This allows you to change their membership status to active or archived, as well as any other membership statuses that are associated with the vetting feature in the membership module that we will discuss later. There is also a field to change the current expiry date for that user. The second item in the dropdown is Send Invoice Email. We went over this process earlier. The last button on the dropdown is View Payments. On this page, you have the Edit button, as well as a dropdown that includes an option to view the associated payment receipt that is attached to the user's confirmation email. When you click on the Edit button, you will be brought to the Edit Payment page. On this page, there is a field to add notes to this payment. You will notice that if there isn't a balance owing, most of the fields on this page will be grayed out. There is not much you can do on this page as the payment has been completed. The only other options would be to create a refund or a discount, which we will go over later. We are going to skip over the registration and abstract cards for now. We will go into more detail on these in later videos. The Invoices card shows all the user's invoices for every module. There is a column to show which module each invoice is associated with. You can click on the invoice number to download specific invoices. If you want to avoid downloading the invoice and just view it, click on the drop-down menu and select View Invoice. The Edit button will take you to a page that provides a summary of the invoice details. This page is mostly view-only, but there is another Edit button that brings you to the Edit Payment page we went over earlier. Going back to the drop-down, we have the Payments button. This will bring you to the payment page associated with the invoice. You can select the Edit button to once again go to the Edit Payment page. The final options on the drop-down are dependent on whether there is a balance owing or not. Create Refund will only be visible if there is no balance owing, while Create Payment and Create Discount will only be visible if there is a balance owing. The last card is the Payments card. The Edit button will take you to the Edit Payment page, and the drop-down contains an option to view the payment receipt. The next item in the left menu bar is Sponsors and Exhibitors. Sponsors and exhibitors are a separate account type that differ from normal users and therefore have their own profile list. We will go into greater detail on this in later videos. Next, we have Customize Theme. This allows you to edit the look of your community. You can add a logo in the top left corner of this page, and the dimensions for this logo are shown in the area where you upload the image. The Dashboard Banner card allows you to choose whether your banner will include an image or text in the banner area. There is currently no image or text added to the banner area on this community. The site banner card allows you to choose whether the banner will include an image or text on the content management side of the application. We will show you that shortly. The global theme card allows you to choose a default theme for your community. The background colors, text colors, and elements colors allows you to customize the look of your community. You can change these using the color picker or by using the hex codes you use for your society's style guide. If you are comfortable with CSS, you can further customize the look of your page by uploading CSS to your community on both the main application as well as the site, also known as the content management side of the application. Since we've been referring to content management, let's look at what this area includes. We may refer to the content management system as the CMS or the public site in later tutorials, so don't be confused when you hear it referenced in these ways as well. First, we will look at page content. You can see that there is a page already added to this community. When you click on the drop-down, you can see a child page as well. When you look at the very bottom of the left menu bar, you will see the main page Demo Welcome is shown here. If we click on this, we are taken to the content management side of the application. You will see that there is a menu bar at the top of this page that includes the Demo Welcome page, and when you hover over it, you see the Member Area Demonstration page that was shown as a child of the main Demo Welcome page. When you click on the Dashboard button, you are taken back to the main dashboard for the application. Let's examine page content further. When you click on a parent page, you have the option to edit it or create a child page. If you create a child page, it will show up below the other child page in the drop-down on the content management page. Let's edit the main page. By default, the Display as Home page and Display in Navigation options are checked for your first parent page. You are not able to limit access to this page via the Requires Login to View checkbox, as it is the main landing page that your login page will now be for this community. You will also notice the slug is grayed out and can't be customized. You can choose whether this page is a content page or a form page, and we will discuss form pages shortly. The page title is simply what will be shown in the menu bar and is for your reference, so you know what each page holds. The content field below that is where you can add text, formatting, tables, images, links, documents, etc. You can use this area to mimic an actual website. Now let's look at the child page by selecting it and clicking Edit. This time, the only option grayed out is the Display as Homepage checkbox. Since the first page is already the home page, we can't add another. However, we can choose whether we want to show this page in the menu bar. If we choose to hide it, only users with the correct URL can access it. This brings us to the slug. The slug is the portion of the URL that shows after the content management address. Notice that we have used the slug member area. If we go back to the content management page and navigate to the child page via the menu bar, you can see the slug at the end of the URL. Notice how the URL reads: my.conf manager.com/community/2/content/member area. If we had chosen to hide this page in navigation, users would need to know this exact URL to access this page. It is a great way to limit who can access certain pages on your content management site. The next way to limit access to pages is to click the Require Login to View checkbox. This allows you to choose what role from your community can access certain pages. You can select any variety of members, chairs, lead reviewers, or reviewers. There are two different page types: content pages and form pages. We've already gone over content pages, so let's look at form pages. On the Forms page, you can create a new form. We are going to use this one that is already set up as an example. We can name the form, archive it, and choose where the responses to the form are sent. It can be saved in the database, sent as an email to an address of your choice, or both. The preface and post-submission text show up before and after the form is filled out, and I will show you shortly how they are shown to a user. The form question is the most important part of this setup. It utilizes the custom question functionality that is used for all custom questions in the application. You have the option to create a new custom question or use one that you've already created. Since we are utilizing a question that is already set up, let's go to our custom question repository to look at this question. You will find the custom question repository under the Community Admin dropdown in Miscellaneous. This custom question simply has a drop-down style question asking the user whether they are voting for one option or another. You can choose whether the custom question is required or not. You may add as many questions to a particular custom question as you'd like by clicking the Add Question button. You can add conditional questions to each question as well. When a conditional question is chosen, you can select which response will trigger the conditional question. In this scenario, if Bender is chosen, it triggers a short text question. Once a custom question is created, you can easily add it to other areas of your community, and it can be used as many times as you'd like. We'll cover this further when we look at the setup for membership, registration, and abstract submissions. Let's go back to the area where we set up our content management form. We will click on Content Management and select Page Content. You can see we have another parent page that will show up beside the Demo Welcome page on our menu bar named Voting. Let's click on that page and edit it. It has all the same features as the content type pages we looked at previously, but this time we have selected Form as the page type, and we see the form that we created called Congress Voting. You will also notice we have the same options to decide whether we want to show this page in the navigation, and whether we want to limit the roles that are able to access this page. Now we'll go to the Content Management side by clicking on the Demo Welcome button in the left menu bar. We'll then click on the Voting button on the menu bar. You will see your email address pre-populated, and the preface text will show above that. If I choose Bender, you will see the conditional question that we set up appears, and if Astro Boy is chosen, there is no conditional question. Fill out the CAPTCHA and click Submit. Now we see the post-submission text we set up on the form. We will now click on Dashboard to go back to the main application and look at where these responses are saved. Let's go back to Content Management and look at our Forms page. Here we will see a Submissions button beside the form we have set up. When we click on this, we can see our form responses. We can click on the View icon to look at individual submissions, or we can export all the form submissions to a spreadsheet to efficiently handle all these responses. If you had chosen the option to save the responses in the database, as well as deliver an email notification, you would receive an email every time a response was submitted by a user. The next item in the Content Management dropdown is the Footer content. This will allow you to add content to the footer of the Content Management side of the application. Simply click Enable Footer and add the content you wish to appear in the footer of the CMS. Now that we've looked at all the content management area, let's move on to the next button in the Community Admin dropdown, the Queued Emails. You can select a date range for the emails you'd like to see, and then click the Search button. Now, all the emails sent from this community in the selected date range will appear. You can further filter the results by searching for the subject of the email, the sender's email address, and the recipient's email address. You can view the contents of the email with the View button, or resend an email using the Resend button. If you want to resend multiple emails, you can click on the checkbox to the left of the email and then click the Resend Selected Emails button. Next, we have the Financials dropdown. There are a few items here, and we'll start with Invoices. On the Invoices page, we have many ways to filter the invoices we want to look at. We can search for the line item description, the first and last name, or the status of the invoices, issued, paid, or canceled. We have further filtering option on the columns themselves. We can search for the invoice number, the users, another invoice status dropdown, as well as the total dollar amount of the invoice. If we click on the invoice number, we can download a PDF of the invoice. The Edit button will bring us to the Edit Invoice page. This is the same page that we accessed from the user summary. We will see a page that is largely read-only and will show all the details associated with the invoice, including the line items and the taxes being charged for each item. We can also add a payment to this invoice from this page if there is an outstanding balance. Let's go back to the invoices to look at the last couple of buttons on the dropdown. The Payment button is another way to add a payment, refund, or discount to this invoice. We can also cancel this invoice. The next item in the Financials dropdown is the invoice emails. We have already looked at a page called User Summary, which shows all the invoices associated with a certain user's profile. Here, we can customize what is shown in the invoice emails. You have an option to edit the invoice emails for regular users or sponsors and exhibitors. Let's click on User Invoice. You will notice the email loads with default text. You can choose to leave it as default or add your own custom content. In all the email setups in the application, you will find different variables available to you depending on which area of the application you are setting up emails for. In this example, the default email includes a variable for the user's first name and another variable that is called payment URL. This payment URL allows the user to navigate directly to a payment page for this invoice. This URL will be shown regardless of whether the invoice has a balance owing or not, which is why the default text indicates that you should use the URL to complete a payment if you have a balance owing. We will go over this feature further when we cover the user summary page again in future tutorials. The other fields that are required to complete this email setup is the sender's name and email address. Once these are filled out, you can click Save and start using the Resend Invoice feature in other areas of the application. Please keep in mind, the same invoice email is sent for all modules that allow admins to send invoice emails. The content in this email shouldn't be specific to a certain module. The next button in the Financials dropdown is Payments. Like the Invoices page, you can search the payments by notes, payment methods, payment statuses, and payment types. Again, you have further filtering options available on each column, including users, invoice numbers, payment methods, payment status, payment type, amount, and reference number. The reference number will be used if accepting a check and you want to include the check number. The Edit button will take you to the Edit Payment page, and the drop-down will have an option to view a receipt for the payment. Lastly, the trash icon will allow you to cancel a payment. The next button on the financial drop-down is Credit Cards. This page allows you to add logos for any additional credit cards you choose to accept on your community. This simply adds the logo to the payment page for each module, but doesn't add the ability to accept that card. That would need to be done on the portal for your chosen payment provider and not in the Conference Manager application. Please reach out to support if you'd like to add additional credit card logos to ensure they are formatted properly. The last button available in the financial dropdown is Coupons. Like Custom Questions, this is a repository of all the coupons that you can use in all the modules in the application. You can create new coupons when setting up each module, and when you do, they will be added to this repository. We already have a coupon created in this community that is giving 50% off to any items this coupon is applied to. We can delete this coupon using the trash icon or edit it with the edit icon. When editing the coupon, you will see the ability to name the coupon, add the code that will be used by users to it, as well as create an expiry date for the coupon. Under the discount details, you have options of creating a flat fee discount or percentage discount. We will look at coupon usage in future tutorials where we apply these coupons to different modules. The last section in the Community Admin dropdown is Miscellaneous. We will skip over Custom Questions for now, since it was covered earlier. The next item in Miscellaneous is User Profile Field Names. This allows you to customize the terminology that you use for the user profile fields. Perhaps you'd like to change last name to surname or department to division. You must use a synonym of the original field name. You can't repurpose a field for something completely different, since these fields are used elsewhere in the community, and the meaning doesn't change. The last item in Miscellaneous is User Profile Custom Questions. This allows you to add custom questions to different areas of the user profile, so when a user is creating a user profile for the first time on your community, you can gather additional information about that user using custom questions. You can create new custom questions or reuse questions you already have in your repository. You have reached the end of our first tutorial video. Since most admins will have the community admin role, we are going to cover the global admin functions in a separate video. See you soon.